Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be visiting the park down at the lower tip of Manhattan called the Battery. It actually sits between Battery Place and Whitehall Street, and it's situated right next to the Staten Island Ferry terminal. Like here, if I just turn around, you'll see the terminal right there behind me. Reason I'm down at this park is because my wife is actually riding the 5-borough bike tour, and I am going to meet her at the finish line in Staten Island. So I figured it's a great time to actually do this particular park tour, which has a lot of actual historical memorial sites here that we're going to visit. So thank you for joining me again, and let's get this walk started. So right now we're walking to one of the actual entrances of the park. So you can see again, Staten Island Ferry back there, Lower Manhattan and all its tall buildings there. And the park is actually pretty busy today. Battery, little map. Interesting wildlife. The entrance I just took is the Whitehall Street entrance, and what you'll find when you enter is an area called the Battery Playscape. It's kind of like a modern version of a jungle gym for the kids to play in. So as you can see, there's some interesting construction, some climbing walls, a little bit of everything for the little ones to enjoy. And right across from that, you will find the SeaGlass Carousel. When in operational, it's a carousel that lets kids sit in, instead of horses and the usual, they're fishes. So you're like a fish in a fish tank. Currently, as you can see, it's not operational, but it is 9 in the morning. This park has a lot of small lawns with lots of chairs for you to sit in and relax, and it is very dog friendly. Again, the lawn area, good amount of space, lots of seating, lots of dogs. Now, the reason you'll see a lot of tourists in this area, this is actually where you can catch the ferries to the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. We'll come across that in a moment. Actually, what you can see right in front of me is the Clinton Castle. And if you didn't have your tickets already, that's where you would head to buy your tickets for the Statue of Liberty or Ellis Island. It's also a historical building, which we'll touch on once we get a little closer. But first, we're going to make a slight detour to one of the first monuments you could come across here. So the first memorial you'll find is the East Coast Memorial, and this actually lists all these servicemen from the different factions of the military that went missing during World War II in the Atlantic. You first enter, you'll find this eagle telling you the reason for the monument, and then the names of all the soldiers lost and their respective branches of the military: Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. The exact number of names should be 4,601.
So, pick it up.
Here to my left, you can actually see one of the cruise ships docking to get ready to take people to the Statue of Liberty. And once it fills, you'll probably see one for Ellis Island parked right behind it. As we continue, we're heading towards the center where the Clinton Castle is. We're going to see another one of our memorials. And this one is pretty important to New York's history and identity. It's called The Immigrants. It is dedicated to the people and nations of, the world who came to build New York City. You have a little bit of everything built in. You have a worker, a priest, a freed African slave, a Jewish immigrant, if I remember correctly from the description. Just, a little bit of everything spanning the history of New York City and all of its immigrants coming to build this amazing city. Okay, so now the next stop in this little mini tour is the Clinton Castle. So this is actually the second version of this castle. At one point it was a military base, tiny military base, but still military base. Here, let's go over to the plaque. So let's see, the last of a series of forts which from the Dutch settlement of 1624 guarded lower Manhattan. Wow, okay, that's really old. Hello, good morning. And then, as you can see, there are some exhibits here, and a park store. But one of the main features here is this is where you can buy your tickets to go to the Statue of Liberty or Ellis Island. If you haven't purchased them already ahead of time. Now, one of the signs I've seen is no crown tickets. So if you really want to go to the crown, it sounds like you need to buy it ahead of time.
Подойдите, пожалуйста.
Okay. You can walk around. There are some exhibits. Definitely recommend coming inside. Show up early enough if you already have your tickets just to check it out. Read a little, learn a little history of the city. Look at a cannon. And if you want, you can get a ranger tour. I believe it's done by those two gentlemen we saw when entering the castle. And when you exit the back, you'll actually exit right, where you need to board for the Statue of Liberty and the Ellis Island boats again. Important notice, show up in enough time, there is a security check, and you know, these boats like to leave on time. Again, currently there is a lot of renovating going on in this part of the park. So we're coming up on the next memorial. Which is the New York Korean War Veterans Memorial. And one of the features of this memorial is if you look on the ground, you'll actually see the casualties for each country, the dead, the wounded, and the missing. And it actually goes through all the countries that participated. United States. Oh. Oh. That's interesting. Denmark is here with And on the back of the monument, it says a Universal Soldier. From this point, you can also see One World Trade Center. The memorial also has the flags of all the countries at the bottom, with the American, the Korean flag very prominent towards the top. Now, as we turn the corner, we're going to come up on another one of the monuments. This one is a monument to Giovanni da Verrazzano. See, the back of the statue. In April 1524, the Florentine-born navigator Verrazzano led the French Caravelle de Dauphine to the discovery of the harbor of New York and named these shores in honor of Francis, first King of France. Well, the naming didn't last. There you go. A monument to Giovanni da Verrazzano, a Florentine navigator. Go. We'll continue walking. And here you can actually see some renderings of what they hope the park will look like once all the construction is done and set up. Oh, okay. So part of the reason for the construction is to actually help reduce the coastal floodings that we are seeing more and more because of the rising water levels. So a little explainer behind the renovations, actually helping to maintain these spaces. Little point, you'll actually find a lot of walking tours start here because of the history surrounding this area, the memorials, and the fact that, again, you have the ferries both to Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty, and a terminal to get to Staten Island. As we're approaching one of the exits to the park, you'll actually see right in front of me is an entrance to one of the train stations, and the one that I took to get here, because it's literally directly in front of the park, 4 and 5 train to Bowling Green. You hop out and you're right there, right at the mouth of the park to start your walk. Pretty well maintained bike path as well, cutting through. So the bottom of this flagpole says, "In testament of the ancient and unbroken friendship, this flagpole is presented to the city of New York by the Dutch people, 1926." And it looks like it shows a Dutch merchant with a Native American trait. Hey everybody, thank you again for joining me on this walking tour of the Battery Park. I'm currently at the exit by Battery Place and State Street, which also happens to be across the street from the National Museum of American Indian, another historical museum that you should check out if you have some time. And thank you, and I'll see you guys all in the parks.